My name is David So. I am a YouTuber, I'm a podcaster, and a restaurateur. We are over here at Lionheart Jiu-Jitsu Academy and Pasadena Strength and Conditioning.
In the game that he played for the sand and the shade, she parades you to square in her shades. She like why you do that, niggas be deceptive, young pretty restless. Long as the check is addressed to a residence. She self-heal therapy, she beat 10 on clearance, but she shopping for clarity. Reap what she sold for the dividend, know what time is the medicine, copping the wristwatch.
Oh, I was fat. I was a big boy, man. I think when I was younger, I always stayed pretty active, even though I was bigger. But at a certain point, I think after a couple of injuries, I got really I just got really unmotivated. When I went to UCR, before I went to Sacramento State University, I actually fractured my left ankle. So if you see right here, I have this ossification on this bone, is where that cartilage was damaged, and then the bone ossified. And this is from the first fracture for basketball. And then when I moved to LA, I landed on Casey's foot when we were playing ball, and I fractured my right ankle. And then after that, it was just downhill, and I got really unmotivated to kind of try to stay a little fit. I mean, I was always a big guy, but I kind of kept it in control because I played basketball a lot. I did football, whatever. But then after that, I just didn't care anymore. And then it got really big, and then I started to change my life, and I got fit after. So when I was in college, UCR before Sac State, I had a couple of friends who were really into the UFC. And I started watching UFC because I used to watch like Strikeforce back in the day. And a little bit of UFC when I was younger, but not that much. There was a couple of gyms in the area towards Riverside that I wanted to train in. So when I was training over there, that was the first time I got an introduction to kickboxing. Well, later on, Bart started kickboxing. It was like a couple of years ago. And so I was like, oh shit, that kind of motivates me to try to get back into it. So I hit up this weird looking guy. His name is Nick the Ear. Really weird, really goofy looking, in fact. It's just hideous. And so I said, the uglier the person, the better the trainer. And I was like, this guy's ugly. No, no, but I hit up Nick, and then Nick and I started training together, and I even have like footage in my phone of when I first started till now. And I think that when I was younger, I didn't really care about technique or getting better at the sport. I think you just assume that you're the best at something just because you try it, and then you're hitting things, so you think you're really great. Maybe people gas you up. But when I started with him, I told him that I wanted to start just doing things really slow and learning technique, if anything else. And after a while, I was really into it, and I started losing weight with him. And then next thing you know, a year later, I lost like 60 or 70 pounds. I think the thing about fitness that I found out in the last 2 years, because I've been a big guy a majority of my life, right? So I've always been the big guy. But when I got really big, I started to realize that fitness started to become something that it's not something that you squeeze in, it should be something that's just a part of your life, right? So a lot of the stuff that I did, even before I was kickboxing, I just started to walk. And the reason why I started walking every day is because it was a form of activity that I could do consistently. And like one thing that Nick always says is that it's more about consistency versus intensity, right? So I decided to walk consistently every day, because the walking is something that everybody can do all the time. And I started like building a habit where I had to walk, I had to move, versus me just staying sedentary because I couldn't push like heavy weights. So if I were to push a lot of heavy weights try to do it every day, I would fail. But if I walk every day, if I walk a mile or 2 miles or 3 miles, that's something that I could stay consistent with, and that transfers into something else. It kind of gets you into a mind state of completing something all the time rather than failing. A lot of the people that I look up to in the fitness world, I mean, obviously there's Bart, right? Bart has always been consistent. And then for me, in terms of fighters, I mean, I'm not a consistent training person anyways, but I love like Israel Adesanya. I actually like Kevin Lee a lot, but even though a lot of people in the UFC think he's trash, I think Kevin Lee is going to be a future belt holder. I mean, there's people like GSP. People don't like Cody Garbrandt either, but I love Cody Garbrandt as well. Adesanya, Jorge Masvidal, Darren Till's a great striker too, but I say Adesanya is probably the person I want to emulate the most. I'd say there's a couple of things. It's, if we're trying to encapsulate it in the world of fitness, I think number one, set your expectations right. Number two, do your research properly. And number three, be a little forgiving to yourself, right? The reason why you have to set your expectations right, I think a lot of people want that success real quick. And I don't think fitness is like that. There's a reason why I've been able to keep this weight off for 2 years, because I have lost weight before, but I've always failed and I've always relapsed back. This time it was a slow game. Even now, like when people see this result of, they see these things online, they see Instagrammers, they see social media people, they say get shredded in 90 days. And I'm pretty sure there are a select amount of human beings that can do it. But we can't set ourselves an example for the 1%. We're the 99%. So my thing is, it's like, stay consistent with something and forgive yourself a little bit. Like you're dieting and sometimes you eat stuff that you know you shouldn't eat that's not gonna be great for your body. That's okay, we're all human. Just get back at it. Even if you lose a pound in a year, you're still somewhere that you weren't before the year before that. So stay consistent, forgive yourself, do your research, and build that habit. And I think that it's okay to fail sometimes too. I failed losing weight a million times. My New Year's goal for the past 10 years was to lose weight, you know? And that New Year's goal happened to be a 10-year goal. And I don't look back on it and I'm not ashamed of it. It's just, it took time for me to get where I am at today. So just be consistent, forgive yourself, love yourself, and then eventually you'll get there.